My 22F boyfriend, 27 meters, has never discussed the future with me after being together for 2.5 years. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 2.5 years and I adore him. He's the kindest person in the world, he's so caring and is good company. The issue is that, while we've been together for so long, we've never discussed a future with each other. While it's something that hasn't really bothered me much, I am thinking of moving next year, so I want to know what things are going to look like for us. He avoids any discussions about the future. I think he wants to settle into a permanent job first, as he's been struggling to get one and doesn't like to make any major decisions unless he's financially stable. Which is great and all, but anytime I mention the prospect of a future together, like where he'd like to live, where he sees himself, he's always like, I don't know, I haven't really thought out it. And brushes it off. I've brought deeper things up while I'm drunk before, like marriage and kids and living together, but he always acts weird and uncomfortable. But he still sees us together, things like maybe one Christmas. Or next summer. Like in the near future we'll be together, but not much mention of a future, if that makes sense. We've had to do long distance twice together already, once when he moved home to study, and another time for a while during the peak of the pandemic when I moved home because I lost my job. I don't want to do long distance again, and I really care about my career. I want to be successful in what I do and to not get stuck in one place so young. I want to ask my boyfriend to move with me, but I just know that he'll say no. Because of this I feel we're so distant as well. I go out a lot more than him. I've met all his friends, he's only met a small handful of mine. I invite him out but he says no. I suggest going on holidays, he says no. I like to take my time walking around and look at things, he gets frustrated when going out and wants to leave places as soon as possible. I like to go out, he likes to stay in and re-watch The Office for the millionth time. I'm just starting to feel dragged down now, and the issue is that I'm so scared of where a conversation about our future will go, because I swear if he says I don't know, I haven't thought about it, I'll lose it. Thing is, otherwise, he's a perfect person. He's so kind and gentle. I feel attractive to him, and I feel loved by him, but sometimes I don't feel wanted by him. I'm worried about speaking to him about stuff because he's quite insecure, and I'm worried he'll think I don't want to be with him when I do. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I just feel sick right now. I almost feel selfish for wanting to focus on my career, but I know it's not. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend has avoided discussions about the future and I'm starting to feel dragged down by it. He's perfect because he's kind and gentle and attractive. Sounds like he's imperfect because he's so insecure you can't even talk to him about things that are making you unhappy. You will not be happy in a long-term relationship if you cannot have open and honest discussions without your partner mentally checking out. When I was 22 it was so hard for me to imagine that there could be anyone as smart and funny and kind and attractive as the person I was with, and wow, I was so wrong. There are so many great people out there, including many people who like to plan ahead and talk about the future. Trust your gut. Something's off here and it's him. I'd suggest just leaving, but if you really want to give him one last shot, let him know how seriously important these discussions, and a sense of relationship security, are to you. But my bets are on he says he'll change, and within a month's time you'll find it's still the same. Don't put off your career for a guy who isn't sure if he wants a future with you. He's fine with things the way they are, and fine with wasting your youth on a relationship that is going nowhere. He doesn't even like the same things you do. If you are content to sit home and watch The Office for the rest of your life, then keep seeing him. If you want to move, go out, and go on holidays, find someone who likes those things and who wants a future with you. He doesn't want to talk about the future with you because he doesn't see a future with you in it. These are the type of people who string someone along for like 9 years, finally admit they don't want to marry her when pressured or given an ultimatum, break up, then finally evaluate what they want now that they're forced to and marry the next girl after being together for 6 months. You're not on the same page. I'm not going to automatically say leave him, but talk to him about this, and if he's still waffling around with I haven't really thought about it crap, then it's time to move on. Not only does he not know what he wants, but he hasn't even bothered to think about it. He doesn't care that he's wasting your time. Personally, I'd want to be with someone who genuinely, enthusiastically wants to be with me, and to move forward and get more serious with me. You should not have to drag your partner down the altar, you know. Just my 2 cents. My boyfriend and myself are close in age to you and yours, just a little bit older. Been together about the same amount of time as well. Earlier this year I had a come to Jesus talk with him about pretty much the same thing. That we needed to sit down and plan for our future together and see what that would entail. I'll be honest, he didn't take it well, since his future at the moment is so up in the air, getting out of the military, going to grad school. We ended up briefly breaking up because while it's okay to not know about the future, I wanted to make sure I was going to be a part of it. We obviously ended up getting back together. He came back to me, but a huge requirement of mine was sitting down and having a long detailed conversation about the future and how we would tackle it together. I think it's totally normal of you to expect that at our age and at the point you're at in your relationship. I personally don't see the point in dating anyone this long if there's no future together. You're clearly driven and want to be successful, so if he's not willing to come along with you on that journey, then so be it. You'll find someone who will be and who will appreciate that in you. I personally think you need to tell him, not ask, that you're going to sit down and talk about it, because that's clearly important to you, so honestly it should be to him too. I, 37F, am waiting for my BF, 54, to decide if he wants to break up. My BF and I of 4 years went to our first therapy session this week. Everything went well, until he repeatedly mentioned how different we are from each other, how we are at different stages of our lives, and that the age gap bothers him, that he has practical concerns regarding his retirement and me working part-time due to illness. To the point where the therapist said he had to decide whether he wants to remain a couple before proceeding with therapy. I knew he had reservations, but not this many or so many specific practical concerns about our future. I told him to think about what he wants and let me know, and I'll understand if it's better we go our separate ways. Since, however, I am feeling very sad, depressed, and anxious, I don't think I'll be able to wait for an answer for very long, because this feels like pure torture. My gut feel says he knows deep down we aren't suited on a practical level, but he's too scared to break up. I am wondering if it's better to go ahead and make the decision for him rather than compromise my mental health. Alternatively, I could suggest a time frame, but how long is reasonable? Any advice on how to proceed? Welcome. Too long didn't read. My BF is thinking about whether he wants to continue our later of 4 years. It is affecting my mental health very negatively. How do I proceed in a way that is fair to both of us? Why are you giving him this much power over the relationship? Make your own decisions instead of leaving everything up to the whims of your boyfriend. May I introduce you to the rule of fuck yes, or no? If each partner does not feel a full-throated fuck yes when considering the other partner, then it's a no to the relationship. Anything less is unfair to both parties. If only one person says fuck yes, it is not enough for a happy partnership. Your partner clearly doesn't feel fuck yes about you, therefore, it's a no to the relationship, for both of your sakes, so that you can both be free to find someone that you have fuck yes reciprocity with. Well, if you're sure he isn't happy and neither are you, you guys can take a break and see if you are happier. Not everything has to be permanent. Life changed every day. Feelings change. I wouldn't wait around because you both actually know what you want. Waiting for an answer that may devastate you puts you in a very vulnerable position. You have to do what's best for you right now, and it sounds like hanging around and waiting for an answer may not be that. If he wants to chase after you, he knows how to find you. Have you decided if you want to break up? Husband, 31M, won't let me have peace and quiet, 29NB. My husband talks through everything. We're watching a new movie, talks through it. Showing me a YouTube video he liked, talks through it. It's annoying, but mostly I just deal because I love him. But I'm also a student, and fall term just started. With COVID, all my classes are online/Zoom. I'm also in my final year, so they are as studious as ever. So I have a lot of work. I try to don it all before GE gets home from work, but sometimes I work late into the night. He wants to talk through all of it. Asks me every 10 seconds what I'm studying. Wants to talk about what happened at work, or the movie he's watching. I understand he wants to share his life with me, and I try to reciprocate. But sometimes I just want to get my work done so he can relax. I've tried talking to him and asking him to let me give peace, but no soap. I'm at a loss for what to do. TLDR, husband won't let me have some quiet so I can do homework. You need to set aside an allotted time, an hour or two, that where you have couple time. After that, if you need to finish your studies for the day, you move to another room. You need to sit and have a conversation about how this is your final year with more serious work that you need/want to do well in. He needs to understand how important this is. This is your career, it's not a game. He needs to respect your time you're devoting to this so both of you can have a better life once you're done. Making a lot of assumptions here, but he might need to get more friends other than you. There's some studies on how women tend to have more friends, and for some guys their wife becomes one of their few friends. I would suggest straight up telling him that he's talking too much, and not for some space or peace. That could mean two different things. I also understand where you're coming from, my BF never shuts up lol. I'd buy some noise cancelling headphones. He needs some concrete behavioral parameters. Get a do not disturb sign. Tell him that he cannot disturb you while the sign is up. Do not watch movies with him if he's going to talk through it. Get up and walk away, even if you're in a movie theater. Doesn't mean you love him less to ask him to respect you more.